Hello, this is me, Helmut Flasch. Want to talk to you today, of course, something I talk almost all the time, and that is how to market for more clients, for more patients, and how to do it in a way where you don't need to, so to say, spend marketing, which is why for more than 20 years I have the term advertising, advertise without advertising. All right, let me capture the basic principle about marketing, and that basic principle, even though I've preached it and implemented it with my clients, dentists and stuff like that across the country, even across the world to a very high degree, India and Singapore and Taiwan. For 20 years now, there's something which becomes more important by the day. And here it is. You got to get involved in the community. You got to get the community whispering about you and your service instead of you screaming about your service, because the masses of the community simply is more powerful. All right, let me talk about it for a second on that. I never talk anything about for a second, so let me talk about it. And okay, I cannot tell you, often enough that you got to do things in the community which have nothing to do with your profession. Whether you're a dentist or a restaurant owner, doesn't matter. You got to do things with children, with poor people and with old people, which have something to do on a humanitarian level rather than about your business. By doing so, your existing clientele or existing patients, the community at large will love you, and the community leaders, the influential people, the church leaders, the school teachers leaders, kind of like the Boy Scout leaders, the people who run sports clubs leaders, all those type of people, the people who do fundraising and name it for the community. Those people will now like and adore you. And by doing so, they will communicate to their groups of people, a priest or a rabbi to their congregation, a leader of a Boy Scout group, or a coach of a soccer team. They have parents and kids they communicate with. If you kind of get their liking, if you like them, if they like you. You cannot get them to like you as a humanitarian, as a person, as a jolly good fellow by talking about your profession. You cannot give them a special in your profession and expect them to pass on that special. That makes them prostitutes. They will not do that. They will get fired on the spot if they do it. Every dentist wants to be appearing in schools to do free cleaning or to do checkups or whatever it may be, to speak about flossing. Every dentist wants to do that. That's why the schools more and more stay away from letting dentists to do that, because the other 50 dentists in town complain about it. Unfair advantage. If they can sue Bill Gates for unfair advantage, because he's just becoming so big and big becomes powerful, trust you me, in this political game, this isn't doable, and you know it. So don't run up a tree which you just cannot climb. It's just not, don't do it. However, those very same people, the fire department and the school teachers and the priests and the rabbis and those people, they will love to tell their group of people, which they have a communication set up, be it via Facebook, Twitter, be it via newsletters regularly, be it via email blast, because they have that email thing, just like you supposed to have email of every one of your patients or clients, whether you're a restaurant owner or not. And if you don't have it, you're already screwing up. You're already not using the fundamental, and then keep worrying why marketing doesn't work when you're not even using the fundamental. Jesus Christ, when you were young and you dated, the first thing is you tried to get the goddamn phone number of that boy or girl, address, whatever. When I dated, there was no phone number. I mean, there was phone numbers, but surely not cell numbers. But you see my point? And then in life, you don't do that. But anyway, those community leaders are willing, not just willing, they love to talk about social messages, something which helps their congregation, their people. All right, that's about marketing, and that's what we do majorly here. Of course, we make you known as a professional. We are good with that, and there's many things to use. By the way, the internet helps with all that also, okay, with no doubt. And the internet is not about a website. No. You are one website, no matter how beautiful and how gorgeous, is about as unimportant as God can. I mean, it's just so super unimportant. Even if you do search engine optimization, it is all super unimportant. It's not about you and your door. It's about on him how many other doors your name is out there. It's about how many other people are talking about you, just like in the social arena and just like in high school. The popular girl, the popular guy was talked about many different topics by all the people around. That's why he or she became popular. Oh, he's good in skiing. Oh, he's good in football. Oh, he's good with the girls. Oh, he's good with this. Oh, he's good with that. You know, there might even have something in it about, oh, he's good in mathematics. That might have been part of it. Either way, as in a book called The Invisible, Selling the Invisible by Harry Beckwith, he has a chapter in it and called Life is like High School. Popularity counts, and that's it. So people need to bump into you all the time. What do you think why McDonald's does what they do? You bump into McDonald's all the time. What do you think why we have the Goodwill Games? You know, the old Goodwill Olympics. Because somebody has goodwill? Well, maybe a little bit. But mainly because it makes money. If Coca-Cola supports the Goodwill Olympics, Coca-Cola makes money. It's the cheapest marketing money they can get, because they're doing something good. If everything is equal, people want to do business with the person who is well known on a social level, and that's all there is to it. And that same applies on the internet. People need to bump on you on the internet no matter where. They type in your name, they need to find it. They type in your profession, they need to find you. And they need to find you not on your website. Actually, your website is self-promoting. They need to find you on thousands and thousands and thousands of other websites. Of course, it's a topic. If you go to our website and if you call us, we'll let you know about that stuff. But you need to get the idea that that's what it is. So, many different things to talk about is the key here. Okay, about you. To have your community weaving you into many different things. So, let me talk about one thing now, and which might be a possibility here. Okay, there are many things, it's just one thing, and now I'm talking about that one thing. And as a preface, I gave you why that one thing might work. And there are 1,000, maybe 10,000 or 100,000 of that one things. Okay, I don't know all of them, and they're unlimited, but I know lots of them. Let's talk about that one thing. What about if you could possibly help? And it's not possible in every state, but it's possible currently in many, in a bunch of states, not in many actually. What about if you could help your potential patients, people around you, your existing patients, to help saving 10 to 20% of their energy bill? You see, people go out and install new windows. All the window salespeople and door salespeople and insulation people, they tell that they will save you 10 to 20% or slightly more. That is, of course, after you spend $10, $20, or $30,000 fixing the whole thing. Same with solar. You know, get a solar system, spend $20,000 or whatever the hell it is, I don't know, something like that. Who cares? Spend a bunch of money. Well, what about if you could help people spending a bunch of money, 10 to 20%, without doing anything, except filling out a form to the current supplier of electricity, which they have, and say, I want to switch, and still get the electricity from the exact same place. Basically, it's not a switching to a different store, it's staying with the same store, only literally applying for a discount and 100% get it. You understand? Same supplier, same thing, no switching. You know, not like, oh, this dentist is cheaper, let's go to this one. I mean, let's go to the cheaper one. Well, Even if that's the case, many people would not want to do that because they like that dentist. Same with electricity or same with vitamin or whatever. No switching needed. What about if you could do that? And by doing so, you offer this to your patients, to existing patients. Would you think that they would now communicate with you a little more again? Yeah. Would you think that you have a reason to communicate with them? See, that's all it is. My job here and your job is to find as many reasons to communicate with your clientele, with your potential clientele and with your existing clientele, so that they then go, oh, I like that, some of them. And that you have a reason to communicate, a reason to knock on the door. Hey, I have something. Not everybody will like it, but they do. And again, different in your profession, because there's only so many times you can contact them about something new in your profession. Only so many times. It will become an old hat. They will tune out your message very fast. Wouldn't matter whether it's another special on dentistry or on whatever, they'll tune it out fast. But what about if you always have a different something for them? Okay, now they talk about it. And what about if to some people this is very interesting and because of it they tell their friends? And what about it if then when they tell their friends, they have no choice but hooking you up with you to a very high degree without you spending time on top of it? Well, that would be great. And because they tell their friends about how this all came about, well, more people know you, like you, and talk to you about. And in any case, it's about helping people out in their life with things which have nothing to do with you, which creates an enormous affinity and liking towards you and does for you and your service. If you don't believe in it, please go and try it without it. And you probably have tried it without it for the last 10, 20, 30 years, whatever you're in practice. Okay? And it probably doesn't quite work. There is very rarely, sometimes there is, but very rarely that I talk to a dentist, a doctor, a chiropractor, or a medical doctor, doesn't matter, an optometrist, who says, I'm making the money I want and I'm working the few hours I want. It isn't happening anymore. It isn't happening. In fact, I know many dentists who work at 65, 75, and 80, not only because they like it, some of them still like it, so that's good, but still, most doctors are overworked and underpaid. They work, maybe they can pay their bills. Did you come to this planet and become a doctor to only pay your bills? Even though your bills may be higher than the guy who has never graduated from high school, you know, but still at your standard of living, you don't have quite the standard of living you want, and yet you have to work like a dog to make it. You know, everybody goes on Thanksgiving vacation except you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want the same result, meaning if you don't want the same money you're now making, start doing things different, otherwise it's insanity. So, I gave you the basic principle of marketing. You need to learn a lot about it. Find 15 or 20 minutes, could tell you everything. Trust me, I would be God. Okay? So, and then I gave you one particular thing. Call me, contact me about it. I will, number one, let you know whether it works in your state. And if it doesn't, we have millions of other things which are similar and which one way or the other way will work. And if it does, great. I'll explain it to you. Maybe you use it, maybe you don't. We have millions of things, and a million is exaggerated, but we have lots of things which you could, should, and talk about to your community so that they start loving you as a human being, and by doing so, start promoting you. You know, the referral business is not all about getting referrals from your existing patients because you're good. No, that's a minuscule, marginal part of it, and yet to most of you, that's all you think about referral business. People who have never been in your practice can and should refer you and will refer you if you do the right thing, and that group is a lot smaller than the group who is your patients. And if you do it right, because you give them so much food for talk, meaning so many things to talk about, to weave you in it, very specifically weave you into that communication, all of a sudden you will be the talk of the town.